Welcome back, and thank you for being part of this amazing community, or a warm welcome if this is your first time joining. My name is Chastity, and I'm an intuitive life coach and Reiki master. Today, I'm going to add a tiny bit more of science into the conversation, and then we'll move into an analogy with coaching elements with the intention of helping all of you out there who are getting ready and preparing for change. When you are learning something new, when you are taking on a new behavior, a new habit, you will create new neural pathways in your brain. It ties back to the concept of neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize and to restructure so that it can create and form new connections. Your old habits, your old behaviors, those have well-worn paths in your brain. So when you're creating new ones, it's going to take some time, some consistency, some patience for you to create those new pathways that become the default paths that your brain takes. When I was thinking about these neural pathways, I got the image of like highways and paths that lead to different roads. And then I thought about an old kids movie called Cars. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the movie, here's a quick recap of the parts of the movie that are more relatable to this particular conversation. So in the movie Cars, the main character, his name is Lightning McQueen, and he's a very arrogant race car. He's in the Piston Cup Championship, and all he cares about is speed and winning that cup. He doesn't even want to stop to change out his tires during the pit stops. He ends up in a three-way tie for the cup. He fires his pit crew at the end of that race. He thinks he's just a one-man show. And then he insists on having his hauler, whose name is Mac, start driving towards California, where the race was going to be taking place for the tiebreaker, because he wanted to get there first so he can get more time for PR. So as Mac drove through the night, he got tired and fatigued, was falling asleep, and then started getting harassed by a gang of streetcars. So in the interim, McQueen, who was sleeping in the trailer, rolls out of the trailer and in an attempt to chase after Mac, ends up destroying the road in a town called Radiator Springs. So the town cars decide to make him pave the road. But here again, he's in a hurry. He paves the road very carelessly, and it's a disaster. It's not drivable. It's bumpy, it has cracks and dips. But from his perspective, he paved it, whether well or not he got it done. So the local doctor, Doc Hudson, he's the doctor of internal combustion. He challenges McQueen to a race, and he says, okay, you know what? If I win, you have to repave the road. So McQueen, again, being all arrogant and stuff, decides easy win. Well, he loses, and he ends up having to repave the road. In the process of repaving, he became a significantly better race car. And I understand that it's a kid's movie, but it's very much relatable to real life and to coaching and to the art, which is embarking on change. When you embark on a journey of change, you will need very specific building blocks to really pave that road for yourself. The first thing that you will need is a clear vision of the path that you want to be on and the direction that you want to move towards. You're gonna take that bigger vision, that bigger goal, and you're gonna break it down into smaller goals. Breaking it down into smaller goals will help you achieve two things. It will help you feel and know that you're making progress because the goals are smaller. And number two, it will allow you to pivot as you see necessary. In the process of achieving the steps, you can adapt as you need to. Second to having a very clear vision of the path that you want to be on is that you need to be able to gather the materials. What materials would you be thinking about or looking at if you're looking to create change? You need to be able to identify your values. Your values will be the internal motivators that will keep you going when you feel you can't go any further. Your values are the fuel that will keep your engine running, that will allow you to continue to move on that road that you are creating for yourself. You will need to identify your strengths. What are you going to lean into during this process of change? What horsepower are you working with? You need to know going in what you can expect of yourself and from yourself. You need to have a clear understanding of who's in your pit crew, who's part of your support network. If you are relying on friends to help you in this process of change, ask yourself the question, are your friends the type of people who will tell you what you want to hear? Or are they the type of individuals who will tell you what you need to hear? There's a very distinct difference between the two. Make sure that you have an adequate support network to help you in your process of change. In addition to having a clear vision, gathering the materials, your values, your strengths, your support network. One more thing you may really want to spend time doing, and it's developing your level of self-awareness so that you can be very mindful and present throughout the process of change. When you lay down that first layer of asphalt, you want to ask yourself, how does my heart feel about it? How does my head see this? There has to be coherence between the two. You have to be honest with yourself and present and mindful enough, aware enough to know what it is that's happening in the process of achieving any goal. If you try to race to the end just to reach the goal, you will miss opportunities to readjust and adapt as needed, to learn and grow, and to really build a solid foundation and path for yourself that you can truly travel on for years to come. Remember that sometimes you need to slow down to speed up. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Until next time, may love and light always guide you. Take care.